Alrighty, hey everybody, we are live here on YouTube. We have a breaking tornado warning here in northwest Missouri, and there is a considerable tornado threat here just around the Kansas City area. Moving just to the east of Kansas City, we have an observed tornado warning. So this means that a tornado is on the ground. This is a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado. It was located near Independence, Missouri, moving east at 45 miles per hour. Okay, so this is for portions of southeastern Clay, southwestern Ray, and northeastern Jackson counties until 3 o'clock Central Time. This is all in Missouri. This is a particularly dangerous situation, so you need to take cover now. This is a radar-confirmed tornado here just to the east of the Kansas City metro area. So if you're just tuning in here to my live stream, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and also share the live stream. We are talking severe weather coverage. We also have a line of thunderstorms here that is producing wind damage. We've had reports of 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts here along the leading edge of this line of storms as it continues to push off to the east northeast here from the Kansas City metro and into cross portions of northwest Missouri. This is including portions of the eastern side, especially of the Kansas City metro area. So let's see here if I can get some new reports coming in. Let's see. Bear with me here, folks. We're looking at some reports coming in of tornado. Again, there is a radar-confirmed tornado on the ground here just to the east of Kansas City. And we look here at the high-resolution velocity here. You can see there is a couplet here where the reds and greens come together. And notice we are seeing that this is approaching Buckner, Missouri right now. So if you're in Buckner along Highway 24, you want to take cover immediately. This rotation is just to your west and likely will be right over top of Buckner, Missouri within the next couple of minutes here. So this is a very serious situation. A tornado is on the ground here. This is just immediately to the east of the Kansas City metro area. So if you're in Buckner, Missouri, you need to be in your shelter and your safe place right now. Eventually, this is going to be also heading up toward Oric. So if you're in Oric, I know you guys are still outside the warning. If you are in Wellington, Henrietta, and Richmond, you need to get ready. The potential for this tornado is moving up your way. So you may be next in line for this tornado warning as it approaches your area. Again, we are looking at rotation here, and there is a pretty tight couplet here still just to the immediate east of the Kansas City metro. This is going to be right over Buckner, Missouri within the next few minutes. So we're keeping very close tabs on that. And right now, again, there is a very tight couplet here where you can see winds going away from the radar and the winds coming toward the radar. And notice it's getting pretty strong here. So there's a radar confirmed tornado warning just to the east of Kansas City. Notice this yellow polygon. That is a large severe thunderstorm warning that we actually do have at this moment. This includes the immediate Kansas City metro, Overland Park down to Belton, all the way north to Smithville, Lawson, and even including Richmond here in Green Valley. This is for a considerable damaging wind threat, 70 mile per hour winds, and a tornado possible tag on this as well, which means that on the leading edge of this line of thunderstorms, you can sometimes get these kinks of storms, such as the one we have just to the east of Kansas City that produces that rotation, and then that rotation leads to tornadoes. So that is something we're going to have to keep an eye on along the entirety of this leading edge as it surges to the east-northeast here over the next little bit. All right, so that is what we're keeping tabs on right now. Again, folks, thanks for joining. We're doing live severe weather coverage here. We're talking tornado warning just to the east of Kansas City, severe thunderstorm warning there as well. Let's move down here further to the south. We have severe thunderstorm warnings, numerous severe thunderstorm warnings popping up across southwestern Oklahoma we want to get to as well. This is near the Altus area and all the way up to the north, just east of Elk City. Let's start with the further south one here approaching Altus. This is capable of some 60 mile per hour wind gusts and ping pong ball size hail. So if you live in Altus, Oklahoma, you got a hailstorm and some damaging winds on your doorstep here. It'll be moving along Highway 62 from west to east here into the Altus area in the next few minutes. Further up to the north, up toward Hobart and New Cordell, we are actually seeing a severe thunderstorm warning here as well. This is for 60 mile per hour wind gusts and quarter size hail. So this is just your everyday, type of severe thunderstorm. And these storms are going to be eventually approaching, especially the southern side, but even the Oklahoma City metro. So we need to watch this over the next couple of hours. We already have some thunderstorms starting to bubble up here just west of the Norman area. These storms are not severe at the moment, but we're going to watch these storms carefully for the potential of these, becoming a little bit taller, those 40,000 foot storm tops. Those could start to produce some hail. Those could start to produce some damaging winds into the immediate OKC metro, but currently right now we don't have any severe warnings on those. We're also monitoring storms up here across northern Oklahoma and southern portions of Kansas, Wichita, down here into the Ponca City area, Enid and Stillwater. A lot of these are just producing some very heavy rainfall, a lot of cloud to ground lightning here, so make sure you're indoors and away from windows here with all these storms. None of them are severe at the moment. Would not be shocked to see some smaller hail with these as they press to the east here into portions of southeastern Kansas over the next few hours, and so areas east of Wichita will have to be watching out for the potential of that, and some flash flooding. A lot of these storms are moving over the same areas from southwest to northeast, so flash flooding and a localized flooding threat will be a concern up into those areas. All right, so let's see if they put a new warning up here on portions of the Kansas City metro. It looks like the tornado warning was allowed to expire. Let's look here at the velocity signature right now, and we are very close to the radar. So let's see if we can find a different radar look here. That's the thing. We're really close to the radar here, being in Kansas City area. So the couplet has appeared to weaken out. Let's go back to the previous couple of frames here, and this is just to the east there of Kansas City, and notice the couplet is starting to weaken out. It looks like it's becoming a lot more outflow dominant, which means damaging wind gusts along this is going to be the most likely, with 60 mile per hour wind gusts still being a possibility along this line. So we're keeping a very close eye on that. Let's go down here and look at the outlook of severe weather today for you folks. Again, here's the outlook of severe weather going into this afternoon and into the evening hours. Notice a lot of these storms are on the western edge of that marginal and slight risk area. So a lot of these storms still haven't really made its way up here into western Illinois yet, central Missouri, eastern Oklahoma, and north Texas yet. That will happen as we progressively go deeper into the afternoon. These storms are going to continue to press to the east, and they're going to continue to pose a risk for damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes. And if we look at the specifics here on this, the tornado threat today is low, but it is a 2% chance of tornadoes stretching all the way up to Madison, Wisconsin, Rockford, Illinois, and the Davenport Quad Cities area, straight down here through Missouri. So we're talking areas of Kansas City, Springfield, Jefferson City here, Quincy, Illinois, stretching down into Bartlesville, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Wichita, Dallas, and Fort Worth. And that even stretches down into central portions of Texas there, including the Abilene area, San Angelo, and Brownwood, close to Waco and Killeen. So there's a lot of people impacted by the potential of tornadoes as we go through the afternoon and the evening hours. All right, just give me 1 second here. All right, thanks everybody again for being here. Okay, so they did extend that severe thunderstorm warning. The tornado warning is no longer in effect here across northwest Missouri, so that's some good news. We still have the severe thunderstorm warning here. Considerable threat for 70 mile per hour wind gusts. Still a tornado possible tag on this. Again, we explained this before, is because we could have these kind of kinks on the leading edge of this storm here. You can see several of them where inflow could start to move into these and definitely produce the potential of some tornadoes. Excuse me. So if you live in Belton, Grain Valley, almost all the way up to Chillicothe there, we have the potential of 70 mile per hour wind gusts along the entire leading edge of this line of storms as it continues to slowly meander from west to east. This severe thunderstorm warning goes over the next 41 minutes here. This is for several counties in northwestern portions of Missouri. Severe thunderstorms, again, located along a line extending from near Polo, Missouri to Buckner to Belton, moving east at 35 miles per hour. So they're not moving terribly quickly, so heavy rainfall is also going to be a big deal here. But again, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and some penny-size hail. This is a public report of several reports of wind damage have been received from the Kansas City metro area with these storms. So it's already caused some power damage and some tree damage here across the Kansas City metro area as these storms exit the metro and push east, again, into northwestern parts of Missouri. So this could continue to pose a risk for widespread damaging winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour as it pushes, again, into the cities here of Grain Valley, Belton, into Richmond, all the way up to Lawson there, and approaching areas of Carrollton and Chillicothe here. So we're going to be keeping a very close eye on those storms. Again, no severe thunderstorm warnings currently down here into the Wichita vicinity. A lot of thunderstorms, that is for sure. None of them are severe, and they are producing some pretty heavy rainfall here. So flooding is going to be a big deal. This is an area that is in that slight risk for flash flooding this afternoon, and that is where we see a lot of these storms kind of training from southwest to northeast over the same areas, and this is what is going to be a compounding effect. You get one thunderstorm that produces a half-inch of rain, and then you get another thunderstorm to come 5 minutes later, produces another half-inch of rain, and then another one after that, and that could lead to some flash flooding and a lot of runoff with these storms. So southeastern Kansas and northern Oklahoma are going to be most at risk for that here over the next few hours. Now, further down here to the south, we are looking at severe thunderstorm warnings here, again, west of Oklahoma City. This is in southwestern Oklahoma. We have a severe thunderstorm warning with 60-mile-per-hour winds and ping-pong ball-size hail in Altus. We look at the echo tops here of these storms. They are pretty tall down here, and the one west of Altus is approaching 50,000 feet. So that tells you that the taller the updraft, the more likely it is to produce some bigger hail. So that is something we're keeping an eye on. The storm a little bit north of Altus is already at 50,000 feet right now. So this storm is really capable of producing that quarter-size hail, maybe even a little bit larger, up to half-dollar size at times. And that storm is going to be approaching areas here into Hobart and Gatobo over to Carnegie. So this is going to be over the next few minutes. New Cordell, you're seeing a very heavy thunderstorm right now, probably a lot of lightning and a lot of wind with this, maybe even some hail as it produces some really dangerous weather there over the next few minutes in the New Cordell area. All right. In the immediate OKC metro right now, there are some thunderstorms in the vicinity. These are not severe. A couple of these could be strong thunderstorms that could produce some smaller hail, maybe some 30, 40 mile per hour wind gusts that are not severe. And we could also obviously see the cloud to ground lightning out there. So make sure you are indoors in the Oklahoma City area. Edmond and Norman over here, eventually approaching Shawnee. Right now, Shawnee, you're okay, but areas in Edmond, Oklahoma City, Moore, and down to Norman here, you want to be indoors and away from windows because cloud to ground lightning is also a dangerous aspect to all of these storms today, regardless if they're severe or not. All right, here comes the tornado warning again. We have now this has been downgraded to a radar indicated tornado warning for southeastern Clay County, southern Ray County, northwestern Lafayette, and northeastern Jackson County. This is all in northwest Missouri till 3:30 this afternoon. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over Sibley or Buckner, Missouri, moving east at 45 miles per hour. So it's starting to pick up a little bit of speed right now. Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur, and tree damage is likely with this storm. So if you're in Independence, Richmond, Lexington, Buckner, Wellington, over into the Sibley area, and Fleming, you all are included in this tornado warning. It is radar indicated. So we go up here and we look here at the, let's switch radars first and foremost, to be honest with you. And let's look here at the velocity. Again, we're not seeing as tight of a couplet as we were earlier on. Definitely was a tornado on the ground, though, most likely just east of the metro Kansas City area that has since weakened. So it looks like the tornado has lifted. That's some great news. Again, thanks, folks, for being here. If you do enjoy the live coverage so far, make sure to give it a like and a subscribe to the channel. We're going to have another video forecast for you this evening after the live stream, updating you on the long-range forecast into the middle of June and the severe weather. We have many more rounds of severe weather upcoming here, and just to show you proof of that, let's zoom out here and show you the severe weather outlook over the next few days. So here's today. We have a slight risk of severe weather from western Illinois and all the way down into central Texas. So a large area at real estate, and actually severe weather is possible even as far north as the upper peninsula of Michigan today and all the way up to Lake Superior. So it's a large area, literally just about from Canada all the way to Mexico. Here's tomorrow's risk of severe weather for your Wednesday, June 4th. A lower end threat for severe weather where you see dark green, Detroit, Toledo, Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, those areas. We have a 1 out of 5 marginal risk there, and then another marginal down here includes Santa Fe, southeastern Colorado, Albuquerque, and West Texas. So from Amarillo to Lubbock and Midland, you guys are all included. Damaging winds and large hail should be the main risk as we go into tomorrow. The tornado threat right now is less than 2%. So we're not looking at a great tornado threat tomorrow, thankfully. Going into Thursday, June 5th, marginal risk up here to the northeast, so watching out for Maine, portions of Vermont, New Hampshire, and eastern New York State down to Albany. But the main corridor of severe weather as we go into Thursday, June 5th, will be down into the OKC metro, Tulsa, Wichita again, Amarillo, and Lubbock. That's where we have a slight risk of severe weather. Doesn't end there, folks. As we go into the extended range, day 4, we have a slight risk of severe weather. Again, similar areas, Amarillo, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Little Rock included this time, over into Paducah, Nashville, and Memphis. So we're keeping an eye on that for Friday. Going into Saturday, we have another slight risk of severe weather. Again, similar areas, Oklahoma City, the northern side of the DFW Metroplex, Little Rock, Memphis, Tupelo, and Birmingham. So we have a large real estate as we go through the rest of this week in similar zones for severe weather. So, and each day will present a risk for damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes. Let's stop over here into southwest Colorado. We have a severe thunderstorm warning way out here into the Rockies, believe it or not. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. This is a pretty nice looking storm. It is in the middle of pretty much nowhere. It's south of Dove Creek, approaching Cortez in Colorado. 60-mile-per-hour winds and a quarter-size hail is possible there as that moves from northwest to southeast across portions of southwestern Colorado. All right, let's get back up here and talk about the warning we have near the Kansas City metro. Again, this is a whole big line of storms that continues to rumble eastward across northwest Missouri. And these are probably the most intense storms in the United States right now, is crossing from Kansas into Missouri. We still have that ongoing tornado warning for the next 18 minutes in northwestern Missouri. Again, for the cities of Independence, Richmond, Lexington, Buckner, Wellington, Orick, and Henrietta. So those areas are all impacted by that tornado warning. Again, the tornado was on the ground earlier, at least radar confirmed. It has now since been lifted. We have a lot of damaging winds, though, along the leading edge of this line. Still a considerable damaging wind threat, 70 miles per hour, and potentially even a tornado along the leading edge of some of this line of storms that is pushing through into northwest Missouri. So I see Silver on here saying Kansas City. Kansas City is in the clear now for the immediate metro of the Kansas City area. You're in the clear. The heaviest of thunderstorms has pushed off now to your east. The tornado warning is well to your east now. And the severe thunderstorm warning is to your east. So you are okay. You're just seeing some rain, maybe some residual lightning and thunder there. Severe weather is less likely now. So the worst of the storms is now to the east of Kansas City, and we're just in the rain and thunderstorm activity for right now. Blue Springs, Missouri. Yeah, I'm going to answer that here just in one moment for you. Yeah, so the Blue Springs, Missouri, you still have a severe thunderstorm warning in your area for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts over the next 30 minutes. So once you get to about 3:30, you should be in the clear for severe weather, and it should just be rain and maybe some heavier rain at that, but some lightning. The worst of the winds is moving through now and should be over the next 20 to 30 minutes, and then you should be in the clear from severe weather. But heavy rainfall will continue into the Blue Springs, Missouri area, even when the severe thunderstorm warning is gone in 30 minutes. I live in Wynne, Arkansas. Anywhere near me? Arkansas, there's nothing really too much happening over there in Arkansas. Arkansas, pretty quiet, the entire state. A lot of the storm activity we're watching is in Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and then up there toward Iowa. So nothing happening in Arkansas, at least for now. Later today, though, could be some storms trying to move into your area that could be strong overnight. But that'll mainly be a weakening trend. These storms, as they move into Arkansas, will be on a weakening trend. So I suppose let's look at the future radar here. We're going to continue to watch that severe thunderstorm warning and tornado warning there in northwest Missouri. Again, that tornado warning is just radar indicated. So let's look at the models here and the future radar and what it does show. So here is what we are looking at as we go deeper through the day, and we're going to go back to the previous run as the next 18Z run is starting to render here. All right, so here is 3 o'clock this afternoon. Basically right now, we got that line of storms actually doing fairly well and showing that. As we go to the 5 o'clock hour here, notice how it starts to get more intense. So if you live in southeastern Iowa, northern Missouri, it looks like we're going to have a pretty intense line of storms moving through. As we go in towards the 4 and 5 o'clock time frame, that is some of the storms pushing north and east from Kansas City up there. And then we're going to have more intense storms developing from Kansas City down towards the eastern side of Wichita and into the northern side of the OKC metro, okay? These storms here are going to be moving from southwest to northeast. They're going to be moving over the same area. So a flooding threat will be a concern from Kansas City down to Wichita and north of OKC as we go into late afternoon and early this evening. All right, and let's zoom it out a little bit more for you. And let's go back here. It's going way too fast for me. Going to the 6 o'clock hour, these storms are going to be pressing up toward the Mississippi River. So we're talking Quad Cities like Davenport, down towards Burlington, Iowa, into Quincy. We're going to be watching those storms moving in. Some of those could bring some damaging winds as far north as Madison, Wisconsin, perhaps, as we go into the early evening hours, Rockford, Illinois, Peoria, and Princeton, and then all the way down there into Missouri. All these storms here, it's going to be a big squall line that crosses through, and these all could be severe weather producers, and they're going to slowly be meandering from west to east, getting closer to the Mississippi River. All right. And then we go a little bit deeper into the overnight. Notice how we had a question about Arkansas earlier. These storms, as they approach Arkansas, look at how it kind of just falls apart. Maybe western Arkansas, like Fort Smith and Fayetteville, may have some severe weather potentially. Dallas, areas down here, looks like a line of storms approaching Dallas late this evening and after midnight. So we're talking between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. Could be seeing some pretty intense storms down here into Dallas. Areas of Fort Worth, Abilene, San Angelo, Waco, and Killeen, Tyler, Texas. These areas, big hail, big wind, and an isolated tornado threat as we go into, say, the 11 o'clock this evening to 1 a.m. time frame. Nice line of storms down here into the heart of the DFW Metroplex. Let's see. Is it going to be dry for Tucson or pretty? Looks like the monsoon weather is really starting to kick in there across the desert Southwest. Looks pretty dry there for Tucson over the next 24 hours. Maybe a couple of showers north of you, but Tucson over there looks pretty dry. So here's Tucson, and looks pretty dry there. Just very hot. There could be some storms that start to develop early tomorrow morning there in Phoenix. Those could try to drop southeast toward Tucson if they build further southeast. But other than that, again, not looking at a ton of rain there. The most of the rain is going to be in northern parts of Arizona. Oops, didn't mean to do that. How's Hopkins, Missouri? So the Hopkins area up there in far northwest Missouri, it looks like over the next couple of hours, we're going to see some thunderstorms. Look like the severe weather is just to your east. Maybe some rainfall through the dinner time, and then all this storm activity moves east. So really between now and the next couple hours, now and between that and 6 o'clock is your time frame for severe weather in Hopkins, Missouri. Chicago, we're going to see some storms later on here today in Chicago, more so this evening and overnight. You can see these storms will be approaching from the west. Again, another line of storms. There's already a line that pushed through areas in at least the northwest suburbs of Chicago, up here near Rockford and, say, Belvedere, Illinois, the Highway 20 corridor, I-90, those areas. That saw some 60 mile per hour winds, 70 mile per hour winds, even some very heavy blinding rainfall earlier this afternoon around noon, 1 o'clock. We're going to have another line of storms that approaches the Chicago area here this evening. I think it's going to be on a weakening trend, and it won't really reach Chicago till about midnight. So it's going to be late here tonight. And some of these storms could be producing some heavier rainfall, but it looks like it falls apart here and seeing just some residual showers as we go through the early morning on Wednesday there across Chicago. So the strongest storms will be west of I-39. Here's I-39. I'm going to put a red line down here. So here's I-39. West of I-39 is the strongest storms. East of I-39 towards Chicago, we're going to see weaker storms into the early morning hours on Wednesday. Austin, Texas. So let's go down here to Austin. Again, we're keeping a very close eye there on that severe thunderstorm warning and tornado warning here. That's why we're live, is mainly for that tornado warning. Austin, we could be seeing a couple of isolated storms here this evening. It looks like the better chance will be because of a line of storms that will approach early tomorrow morning. It's going to drop south from North Texas into Central Texas after 3 o'clock in the morning. And these, especially north of Austin, could be producing some damaging winds, some really big hail, and an isolated tornado. And it looks like it's going to be falling apart as it approaches Austin around the 6-7 a.m. time frame on Wednesday morning. So you could still see some gusty winds, heavy downpours, cloud to ground lightning, all that stuff as we go into the Austin, Texas area early tomorrow morning. Again, we're doing live severe weather coverage and talking about the upcoming simulated radar going through the evening and overnight hours. So if you have any questions, make sure that you ask. We'll try to get to everybody here. And again, thank you all for being here. If you are here, make sure to drop a like, thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're going to do another video forecast likely for you early on this evening. This will update you on the severe weather throughout the rest of the week. This weekend, and we'll take you through Father's Day weekend as well and talk about the long range, and we have some heat waves coming. It is June after all. Meteorological summer has started. Also, the hurricane season has started June 1st, and we are also seeing areas of interest. So if you're interested in the weather across the United States, southern Canada, and the tropics, this is the channel for you. Make sure to subscribe down below if you have not already. And turn on your post notifications so you're notified for future videos and live streams such as the one we're doing now. So you're notified for that in the future. And share it with a friend, family member, or on social media. That includes all videos and live streams I do here on the channel. I really do appreciate everybody's help in getting the word out to help more and more people here across the country. That is our mission here, Weather on the Go, is to reach as many people as possible and give them precise, accurate, and reliable weather coverage. Milwaukee, Katie. Yeah, Milwaukee area. Storms will be on and off here over the next few hours. It looks like another line of storms will approach your area later this evening. It should be on a weakening trend, but some heavy downpours will be possible. I think the strongest storms will be south into Illinois, though. So that's what we're watching for. Milwaukee could get a little bumpy there with storms around 8 o'clock this evening. It looks like some pop-up storms there, and then that main line kind of weakens, but approaches Milwaukee about 10 o'clock this evening. All right, so let's get off that. Let's go back to the main radar here. Again, we're continuing to monitor a tornado warning here. This is for the next 7 minutes. Radar indicated this is near Richmond, moving east at 45 miles per hour. So Richmond, Lexington, Orick, Wellington, Hardin, Henrietta, Napoleon, Camden, and Fleming, Missouri are all included in this for the next few minutes. This goes through 3:30 for southern Ray and northwestern Lafayette counties in Missouri. We got an extended severe thunderstorm warning further north now. This does include Chillicothe, Missouri. So if you're in the Chillicothe, Trenton, Milan, Brookfield, and Marceline area, you are all included in a severe thunderstorm warning almost for the next hour for 60 mile per hour wind gusts. So we're watching that. Notice how it's starting to kind of bow out up here. This is where the wind is pushing the rain forward. And that is what we call a bow echo, all right? You see that backward C shape? It's the wind on the rear inflow jet pushing that rainfall forward and making that backward C shape. And that's going to be pushing up there eventually toward Kirksville, Missouri over the next couple of hours. So those are some of the strong storms we're watching for. Storms will continue to strengthen further north here. If we switch over the Des Moines radar, this is mainly an area of rain up here in southern Iowa and far, far northern Missouri. So along the Iowa-Missouri border, all this is just stratiform rain and some rumbles of thunder. This could start to develop a line of storms over the next couple of hours southeast of Des Moines, and this could eventually move into southeastern Iowa. Instability starting to grow a little bit out here, just south and west of Davenport. That could include an area of some damaging winds and hail over the next few hours as those storms really start to gather steam. Let's see. Yeah, Jefferson City, Missouri. I see some questions about that. There are some storms coming. They are to your west. There are some isolated pop-up storms. We're going to need to watch these here to your west. So Sedalia, those areas. We're watching some isolated pop-up storms out ahead of the main line. Jefferson City, those storms probably won't be there till this evening, mainly. So dinner time onward is probably when we're watching for severe weather there in Jefferson City. Same thing there in Springfield, Missouri, and Columbia. I would not be scared, no. Just be prepared for severe weather down there into the Dallas area. Again, those storms will be approaching later on this evening and really after midnight. Okay, so now we were talking about strong thunderstorms at the time across the OKC Metro. We officially got a severe thunderstorm warning for the next 33 minutes there in Oklahoma City. This includes Moore, Oklahoma City, and Edmond. So if you live in Oklahoma City proper, you have a 60 mile per hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail possible as this nasty thunderstorm cluster really starts to move in. It's moving in from southwest to northeast, so it's going to be overspreading the downtown area of the Oklahoma City Metro really over the next few minutes. So heavy downpours, quarter-size hail, and big wind gusts to 60 miles per hour could cause some scattered power outages and some tree branches to fall down, so be watching out for that. There is a 2% chance of tornadoes, yes, up there in Jefferson City, Missouri. I don't think they're going to get tornadoes. I think the most likely scenario is for damaging winds and some heavy rain, maybe some hail, but the tornado threat is very low today. So, for example, it is a 2% chance of tornadoes. So we'll bring up the tornado risk. This is a 2% chance. Okay, so they just upgraded this, actually. So areas up here to the north, including Kansas City to Davenport. This is an area where a line of thunderstorms is developing and will continue to develop over the next few hours. And when I say the next few hours, I'm talking about going into the evening hours. These storms back here are going to continue to march north and east. This will eventually be in northeast Missouri, near Kirksville, southeastern Iowa, near Burlington, and up toward Davenport, in western Illinois toward Macomb and Galesburg over the next few hours. This will continue to produce more of an elevated tornado risk in Brown. That's a 5% chance. Jefferson City down here, you're in a 2% chance of tornadoes in the dark green area. Tornadoes will be possible even as far north as Rockford, Waukegan, Madison, Milwaukee, Kenosha, and Sheboygan, all the way almost up to Oshkosh, Wisconsin. as we go through the evening and overnight hours as those storms move through. We also have a 2% chance of tornadoes for Bartlesville, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, down to Lawton, Fort Sill, Dallas, into the Wichita Falls, Abilene, San Angelo area near Waco and Killeen. So a lot of areas, millions of people impacted by the chance of tornadoes today, literally stretching from southern Wisconsin all the way to central Texas, with, again, the more organized and elevated tornado risk upgrade here in the brown is a 5% chance, though. So this is southeastern Iowa, western Illinois, and north central Missouri, and a very small smidge of eastern Kansas in that 5% chance of tornadoes here over the next few hours. No, Dallas will probably not get upgraded to a 5% chance of tornadoes because this is looking like a line of storms. Typically, a line of storms produces more of the damaging wind hail potential. And yes, I know there's a line of storms up here too in Kansas City. There's more wind shear up here. So a lot more wind shear combined with an overlap of moisture and instability is going to give this area in brown up here a 5% chance and a more elevated tornado risk. These storms you're seeing right now down in Oklahoma City, these are going to start to back build a little bit more towards West Texas, and eventually a line of storms will drop southeast through the DFW area later on here tonight. That's the expectation, at least for this point in time. All right, we got a new severe thunderstorm warning. Let's take off the tornado probabilities here real quick. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning here for the OKC Metro. This includes areas north of OKC. So we're talking I-35 up near Edmond. So Guthrie, you are impacted. So Guthrie, there's a severe thunderstorm heading your way if you're in Guthrie, Oklahoma. 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-size hail. Something we're keeping a very close eye on down here. We got a lot of warnings. Into the Altus area, we have a big severe thunderstorm down here with ping-pong ball-size hail. A lot of these storms are really starting to get pretty tall down here in southwestern Oklahoma. The Altus area, this storm has now reached 52,000 feet just west of Altus. So the taller the storm gets, the taller the updraft, the more likely it is to produce big hail and, of course, big wind as well. All right. Yeah, the storm, the echo tops up here into the OKC Metro are approaching around 40,000 feet. The Edmond storm up here around 46,000 feet is the tallest I see up here. So that's why we're seeing the hail threat the way we are. Northern Oklahoma, some of these storms are pretty tall, about 50,000 feet. The storm up near Ponca City approaching 50,000 at 49,000 feet. So I would not be shocked these storms really start to mature over the next couple of hours, that they produce some damaging winds and hail between Wichita and Oklahoma City too. Right now, these are just heavy rain producers, but these could turn severe really over the next couple of hours. And a flash flooding threat is also going to be in this region, as well as a lot of these storms are training. When you hear of training thunderstorms, they move over the same areas over and over again. And we just explained this earlier, to where, you get a half inch of rain from a heavy thunderstorm, you get maybe a few minutes break, and then another heavy thunderstorm moves over that area, produces another quarter, half an inch. That could cause a lot of runoff and potentially even some flash flooding. All right, so good news. Tornado warning has been allowed to expire here. We are still dealing with severe thunderstorm warnings up into the areas east and northeast of Kansas City as this line of storms continues to press off to the east and northeast. Chillicothe, those storms are knocking on your doorstep. So if you're in Chillicothe, they're literally moving in right now, probably seeing some gusty winds there as this entire line surges off to the east and to the northeast here at about 40 to 50 miles per hour in that range. That's how fast those storms are moving right now. Hey, Logan, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's been very active in Missouri this spring season, that's for sure. McAllister, Oklahoma. I don't remember off the top of my head actually where that is, but I will help you out with your information there. Just a minute. Okay, I figured it was in eastern Oklahoma there. So, yeah, storms will be possible later on today if we bring up the future, like what the radar could look like. These storms will be moving into the McAllister area. Looks like with a line of storms between about 7 and 9 o'clock this evening. So those storms will really start to pack a punch there. So early to mid-evening is when we could really start to see this big line of storms develop. So all these storms developing back in southwest and central Oklahoma will continue to grow further north and south and produce a big line of storms, a squall line. So damaging winds and hail will be the primary threat here, but also an isolated tornado will be will be possible. It's a low chance, 2% in these areas. Again, thank you. We're doing live severe weather coverage here, covering severe weather. We have some severe thunderstorms happening in both Missouri and Oklahoma. We also did have recently a severe thunderstorm in southwestern Colorado. That severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire or be canceled, so that's good news there. But we currently still do have 6 severe thunderstorm warnings, 4 of them in Oklahoma and 2 of them in Missouri currently. So, and one of them up here is for 70 mile per hour, or it was for 70 mile per hour winds. So this has been downgraded, but 60 mile per hour winds with a tornado possible tag for areas east of Kansas City. We did, if you haven't joined earlier, we did have a radar confirmed tornado warning on the eastern side of the Kansas City metro. Likely a tornado that was on the ground earlier was allowed to lift. And so we no longer have a tornado on the ground, but definitely still seeing damaging winds and hail out there and some very heavy rain producing thunderstorms that could produce some flash flooding here, as a lot of these, again, are moving slowly, but they're also moving over the same areas. That's what we call training thunderstorms. And this is going to continue over the next several hours in a lot of areas in Missouri, Kansas, down into Oklahoma. And this is why we have that risk for flooding here, kind of really in this zone throughout the day. So we're going to continue to monitor this region, as we've already seen a lot of rainfall here today so far. Like here's the rainfall we saw within just the last 60 minutes or so. And areas in Kansas City, especially in the eastern side, have already picked up close to an inch, around 3/4 of an inch of rain. There have been some areas, probably at an inch of rain in an hour period. So that means these storms mean business with rain, blinding rainfall, 1 inch per hour rain rates. That's definitely going to be causing a lot of ponding of water on roadways, poor drainage areas like ditches, farmlands, and stuff like that. And the corn crops out there, a lot of those corn crops aren't fully grown yet, right? They just started growing over the last few weeks as farmers here in the Western Ag Belt have finally gotten their crops in. And a lot of these fields here in northern Missouri have been pretty dry lately, so it should be able to soak up some moisture, but some low-lying areas in the farm fields could maybe have some ponding of water on them. So keeping an eye on that. All right. Yay, folks, guess what? We are literally just 13 subscribers away from 132,000. And before the live stream's over, I think we're going to end it here in a few minutes. But hey, if you want to subscribe to the channel, we're likely going to have another video forecast for you this evening. So be looking out for that between 5 o'clock and about 7 or so this evening. We're going to update you on the severe weather threat throughout the rest of the week and this weekend. Taking you through Father's Day weekend, we'll talk about how much rainfall you can expect, what the risks of severe weather will be, whether it'll be damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes, or all three. We'll talk about the temperatures and the tropics all in that video. So make sure you are turning on your post notifications if you're subscribed to my channel so you're notified for that video here coming out in the next few hours. And again, we'll be posting another video tomorrow as well, updating you, updating you on the severe weather. Yeah, Logan, I think that line of storms that moved through that area earlier on actually is probably going to put a damper on the storms later, because it did take a lot of energy out of the atmosphere. Now, there is recovering, instability starting to build further to the south and west, back toward the Davenport, Quad Cities area. And this is causing the sun to come out a little bit at times. And that could cause some of the those storms to really start to build. The storms that are back toward Kansas City as they move northeast could start to produce some severe weather there in northeast Illinois. Will it be widespread? Probably not. We're looking probably more at a scattered severe weather threat with some damaging winds to, maybe 60, 70 miles per hour tops. Some hail, mostly small hail, but some quarter-size hail in there at times, and a low tornado risk. Again, an elevated risk of tornadoes here in this area. Just to the west of probably where you're talking about, because you're talking about portions there of southeastern Wisconsin. We're talking more western Illinois, southeastern Iowa, and northern Missouri. We have that 5% chance. But there is still a 2% chance of tornadoes, so don't want to let your guard down in Madison, Milwaukee, Kenosha, Waukegan, and Rockford, Belvedere. Those areas up there in northeastern Illinois still have a low-end chance for tornadoes today. And that goes through late tonight. Yeah, the dew point is 68 degrees in Aurora. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. All right, folks, great news. The tornado warning has been allowed to expire. We did go live mainly for the tornado warning. If anything else looks super serious today, we'll try to hop on and do a live stream. Otherwise, again, turn on post notifications. Likely a video coming out here early this evening, updating you on the severe weather. We have an extension to the severe thunderstorm warning down here in Carrollton and Warrensburg, Missouri. This will also approach Marshall and Marceline further to the north in Missouri. 60-mile-per-hour winds, tornado possible tag. Again, any point along this leading edge, we could have some radar indicated and at times radar confirmed tornadoes. So tornadoes will be possible along the leading edge of this line. We're also watching these individual storms developing in central Missouri that are kind of out ahead of the main line. Those, if they can start to become surface-based, could produce more of a localized tornado threat over the next couple hours. So that is what we're looking at. All right, folks, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining the live stream, and hope you have a safe rest of your afternoon. See you later on the video this evening. Goodbye, everybody.